What is going on then, everybody? Hope you're all doing very well. My name is Alex, also known as the FIFA Analyst, and today we've got a very interesting video for you guys. We're going to be taking a look at Fnatic Tekkz. Very hard thing for me to say that. You just want to say F2, just comes out like all the time. But Fnatic Tekkz recently signed for Fnatic and is also the back-to-back first FUT Champions Cup winner within FIFA 18, FIFA 19 and now FIFA 20. He did play against Wolves for Filza, who was a very good player. He went unbeaten on PS4. It was only Tekkz and Filza who went unbeaten throughout the whole of the tournament, whole of the Swiss stage, and went all the way to the cross-console final where Tekkz managed to pick up the win over the two legs. So today we're going to be taking a look at exactly what Tekkz does that separates him from everyone else, what makes him the player that he is, because he's absolutely phenomenal. He's dominated the FIFA scene now for the last couple of years really, and I don't really think there's a debate to say that he's the best player that ever really that's touched FIFA. There's been multiple people that have had that, you know, thing put on their name essentially, but I think Tekkz just wins that now quite comfortably. So before we go in and dive into it, just a reminder that we do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Links are in the description, along with for our Twitter and everything else where you guys can stay up to date with all the content. So, but yeah, I hope you're all doing very well. We're going to be taking a look then, exactly. So I'm going to be looking at the screen which we've got in front of me while looking at you guys as well. One of the things that Tekkz said, which actually quite amazed me, and you could tell that some of the people there weren't really liking that he was saying that, is that apparently he doesn't actually play that much FIFA. Like, he just doesn't. You know, he tends to chill really, go out with his mates. That's not something that most people can do. I think Tekkz, in a way, he sees the game that no one else does. I don't know how he kind of does it, to be honest with you. But yeah, so he doesn't play a massive amount of FIFA is what he says. He says, you know, as he gets closer to the tournaments, a couple of days, he loads it up and then focuses and gets a bit of practice in. But on a whole, he doesn't play an absolute load of FIFA. So, jumping into how he kind of plays, he does rock the 4-2-3-1 in most cases. I know in FUT Champions and throughout the start of this FIFA, he has been toying with 4-4-2, but pretty much all of his games that he played at the FUT Champions Cup this weekend, he did go and play 4-2-3-1. He was still sticking with Van Dijk. He'd have Van Dijk and Maldini as your centre-backs, and then right back and left back, he was using your normal picks of Zambrotta, and then he was also using, I can't remember his name, we'll have a look at it in a little bit, on the right back, and then he was obviously running your Patrick Vieira, your Ruud Gullit, your R9, all that sort of stuff was pretty much a standard. I think he was rocking Neymar as well in his starting team, which not everyone was. Some people were choosing Messi, some people were choosing CR7, all that sort of stuff. But he was a massive fan of Virgil van Dijk at the back, and then you got Eusebio as well. So overall, team was what you kind of expect for these FUT Champions Cup teams. They all use similar sort of players. There's a couple little differences, but not anything major. Now, one of the things that Tekkz does absolutely amazing, really, and it's difficult to say how you guys can learn this other than just practice. He knows when to go forward, when to just hold the ball a little bit longer. Like, he's so patient in attack. He goes forward at just the right times. He knows when a counter's on. He knows when a counter's not on, and when to just let all the boys regroup and get back into position. He reads the game at a level that no one else seems to kind of read it at, to be honest with you. So it's almost like he learned when the game is when it's going to be in your best interest to go forward and when it's not. Does that kind of make sense? I don't really think I'm explaining that well enough, but that's one of the things that he does phenomenally well. And then just as a whole, for most FIFA players, he's very patient in just the middle of the park. You'll see him, because he plays the 4-2-3-1, he creates a triangle with your right defensive mid, your left defensive mid, and then your cam. He will use those three players the majority of the time. Them the ones that will be on the ball more than anything. And then he will fling it out to the right back, fling it out to the left back, switch it out. He will use the whole width of the pitch. He doesn't just always stick in the narrow. He goes to the whole width, waits for a good opportunity to get people involved, and just kind of takes it as it is. I mean, you'll literally just see him just holding the ball, toying with it. Now, when we say holding the ball, it's not so much just holding the ball on the, you know, in your own half and then working your way down the right hand side, trying to get across in, trying to cut back, that sort of thing. He holds the ball a lot of the time on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's waiting for that opposition to just drag a player out of position. As soon as he sees that little bit of space, like there with Eusebio, he just made that little bit of space all for himself, taking his time. He'll do a little heel to heel, the ball roll, whatever it is he needs to do. He'll pull it out of his locker and then wait for that best opportunity. It's about about closing the margins down. So if you've got a 30% chance of getting a shot off, and if, you know, 30% chance it might hit the target, he won't take it. He'll wait for a higher percentage chance, and then he'll take it from there. So first thing really is just holding that ball in those crucial areas, waiting for the opposition to drag someone out of position, essentially, and kind of getting it on there for us as well. One of the things that Tekkz does, a lot of FIFA players do it at the top level, not so much to the level that he does, but a lot of average FIFA players don't do it full stop. It's just having some skill moves in your locker. You've got to go out there and you've got to learn some skill moves. You've got to know what works, what doesn't work, when to do it, when you shouldn't be doing it, all that sort of stuff. But it's just having those little bit of... Because what you're doing is, if you have those skill moves in your locker, you're keeping the opposition guessing at pretty much all times. You don't know if they're going to feint one way, drag back the other way, if he's going to do a fake shot, if he's going to do a heel to heel, whatever he's going to do, you don't particularly know. So it's all about just keeping the opposition guessing. I mean, you can just see now he's going to be working the ball up nicely from in defence. It's very rare that he'll lose the ball here. I mean, he might do. I have watched this game, so I can't remember it minute by minute. He will just take his time in building it up, waiting for those opportunities to kind of get forward. We'll have a look at this particular attack and kind of dissect it as he does it as well. So he's got Zambrotta at left back, Hullet. I'm just trying to think who the right back was. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. But as you can see, he's just waiting. As soon as he thinks, yeah, that's an opportunity to go forward, he'll do it. And he's just literally dragging those players down. So he'll be running down the line, fake shot, using L2 there, LT, to just keep the shield on the player, to kind of keep the defender right off him. And still just patience. Nice little pass into Ronaldo. He's going to go to Vieira. No, still patience. All right, loses it there, but a bit unfortunate, I suppose. One thing that you'll see, but you should see directly there as well, I mean, that tackle from Van Dijk I wouldn't really recommend doing, is that he plays a high defensive line. He doesn't play drop back at all. I think his depth he's probably on, he's about 5. It kind of seems like the majority of the time his defence is in a very, very high position on the pitch. So a lot of people obviously tend to play 2, 3, drop back. He doesn't do that at all. Again, I think that's something for players. You've got to find your perfect way of it. So because Tekkz is a very good defender, if he does get caught out, he can usually tend to make up that ground, get back, make the tackle, that sort of stuff. For your average FIFA player, you might just dive in too much and lose the ball, not lose the ball, and just lose your player because you've dived in, he's not got the ball, he's then out of position, that sort of thing as well. This is looking into Tekkz, yeah, so he's got Carlos Alberto at right back and then Garincha at right wing, that's it. So you can see that he's playing 4-2-3-1, Eusebio indirectly at the middle as well. Tell you what, we'll have a look at those. If I scroll back, I'm just going to have a quick look at what he's running on his tactics, because we did get to see it there slightly. So let's have a quick look for us. So yeah, balance, there you go, you can already see it in depth. He's literally running 6 depth, I think that was. And then he's got free roam on his centre attacking mid there. I think he's just changed that though, so that wasn't kind of running from the start. So it's a little bit different actually. Quite high depth, 6. I always thought he rocked 5, to be honest with you. So you can see what he's trying to do is when he's playing 6 depths, he's trying to just draw the opposition into their half, box them in, don't give you the chance to breathe and kind of get forward. That's essentially what he's trying to do. The more players you can get involved into their half, you're going to have more passes on, which makes it very, very difficult to defend against. But obviously, that leaves you open to the counter. So that's why he's so patient in attack, because if he rushes it, once he's got 9, 10 men kind of, you know, pretty much up the field, he'll have one centre back or something. If he loses that ball, he's going to get counted on, he's going to concede, all that sort of stuff. So again, you can just see him moving it across, waiting for the opportunity. You know what I said about the triangles that he has? He used Vieira, then to Hullet, then to Eusebio, and he'll just keep coming across. There's the little triangle, he's got it on if he wants. He goes for Garincha, Eusebio. Okay, kind of good defending there from Wolves for Filza. What we will say as well for Filza, absolutely phenomenal defender. The guy rarely ever concedes goals. Unbelievable tournament from him, so that's credit to him as well. I think he gave Tekkz one hell of a game. Unfortunately, didn't get to create too much, but that's just due to how good Tekkz can be at this as well. What we will kind of discuss to move on to is how quick Tekkz, he doesn't press so much in a way of when it's in their half, he's going to really balls to the wall to try and get the ball back. But he's constantly switching players, so he's using the right stick, he's using L1, LB to cover those passing lanes and always try and put pressure on the ball holder. Lovely little tackle with Van Dijk there. And just sweeping up nicely. What he's going to do now is 56 minutes, so he's just He's literally just giving the ball away. I was about to say that. What I was going to say is that you'll probably see him hold the ball, work the ball up nicely, and kind of just relax on that front. That's a poor pass from Filza there, to be honest with you. Not too great at all. But let's take a look. So we've got Zambrotta down the left wing, using Neymar as well, up against Carlos Alberto. I'd imagine a ball roll here. So yeah, there, what he's tried to do is just put Neymar up into the top-hand side of the pitch. A ball roll probably would have been more suitable on that particular front as well. But that little switch there to Garincha has put Zambrotta under pressure straight away. I'm going to take a quick drink of water. But that little switch, if you go back and watch it, he knew that that was the next pass. Changes to the player, puts pressure on the ball holder as quick as he can. Again, same there with Hullet. It's all about that quick switching. You've got to be reading the game to the best of your ability and just getting that next player onto the pressure of the ball holder, but also cover the passing lanes, which is what he's doing with Vieira now. Covering the passing lanes, unfortunate to get megsed. And then again, Zambrotta just reading that little 1-2. It's quite predictable. I imagine most FIFA players will be reading that as well. So now in the 64th minute, he's giving the ball away cheaply here. You can see from his reaction, he's just giving it away. He's not particularly happy with that. For Filza, really should be capitalising on that, to be honest with you. It's a poor decision to take that shot with Mbappe. I think if he's a bit more calm in that situation, you know, he can get a better shot off than that. I don't think that shot from Mbappe is ever really going to go in. We're not on FIFA 19, are we? So that is one thing to take into account as well. From goal kicks, pretty much everyone this year just goes to your right back or your left back. Diving in with Maldini there, getting quite lucky. Lovely little read with Virgil van Dijk though, because I think everyone would have thought the other pass was on. But no, Tekkz says, I know exactly what you're going to be doing. You're going to be going the other way. You can just see how wide he uses that pitch. So look where Neymar is. He's literally out getting chalk on his boots, and Tekkz is happy to play it down there as well. So he's got the Carlos Alberto at right back, still just taking his time, patience. You'll see him just work it up nicely, switching it from side to side, waiting for the good opportunities to kind of come through. Just drawing the opposition out nicely. Nice little gap in the middle there, so there's that triangle. Uses Vieira, gets him involved. Imagine him go back into Eusebio. No, even back further. Okay, Garincha. It's interesting because, you know, you try and read this sort of stuff and what they do. I mean, there's the little skill move that we're saying about just keeping the opposition guessing on what they're doing. It's very difficult to read at times. When I play against these best people in the world, it is one thing that I struggle with, just trying to defend against them, because you never know what they're going to do. They're pretty much just completely unpredictable. Quite a readable drag back there. I don't think he had too much else on, and then that was a unlucky little finish and he was offside anyway. But that drag back, I think for Filza, probably should be reading that most days. Let's have a look at his pressing here. So he switched over to Eusebio. Imagine he switches to Neymar, covers that left pass and then to the left back. Okay, he went for the Eusebio, which was interesting. And he's going to switch into the middle. Brings, yeah, it's the quick switching. You've got to be able to do it, guys. Just right stick switch, left stick, L1, LB switch as well. Pull Van Dijk out of position here, so we're going to switch and let him get back. Puts a bit of pressure on with Vieira. That tackle was actually, you know, he pulled Vieira out of position quite a bit. He has been pressing tackle quite a few times here in this game. He does try to be aggressive in defence, to be fair to him. What's he going to do? I don't know if that was the right shot choice from Filza there, to be fair. I don't know really if he had much else on, but I don't know if the finesse would have been better. Maybe he was hoping that he would have moved the keeper, Alisson, to the other side, and he was trying to go for the near post, but Ronaldo didn't just hit it as cleanly as he wanted to. Again, using the Van Dijk to come across and cover. Good defending. Didn't really have too much to go there for Filza, to be honest with you. Carlos Alberto getting back and defending fairly nicely. So now it's 1-0. We're in the first leg. This is on the away console, I believe Tekkz chose first. Yeah, Tekkz chose the away console first and then came back on the Xbox. You know, watch that 1-2. Stand up tall. Quite bad defending there, actually. Not too far forward.
Went for that finesse to the right of him.
I don't really know how Filza's messed that up. If he didn't finesse that and he would have just hit that as hard as he could, then he would have been basically through and would have had the goal there. If Filza didn't finesse that, that's just a straight goal and would have been 1-1. So now Tekkz can see he's just trying to see the game out. He brings comeback on defence on all of his centre attacking mids, but also drops his depth down and tells his striker to come back on defence as well. So now this is just about seeing the game out. I think this is one of the things that Tekkz has developed this year and throughout the back end of last year as well, is his game management, seeing the games out. He's a lot more calmer. before he'd still whack out the skill moves and try and get goals for the fans essentially, but as this year he seems to matured up a little bit and knows exactly when to just see the game out. It's a game of FIFA, you can score a goal at any point, and he knows if he can go into this second leg with a 1-0 lead, it's pretty much probably done, really, you know, because then Fulfills has got to come out and he's got to attack, and that's what suits Tekkz's playstyle. I mean, he doesn't hold the ball to the level that Dito does or Rocky does, but he's very, very particular on about when to go forward and when not. So he doesn't hold the ball unnecessarily. You know, he still tries to go forward and get the goals, but he's just very, very particular about when he's kind of going to go forward and create the opportunities, essentially. And the rest of this now is just going to be seeing Tekkz playing the game out. I mean, for Phils, they played 4-2-3-1 as well. Maybe he could have changed to something else. Maybe could have gone to a 3 at the back. But I suppose if a 1-0 lead, you'll take it for Phils at this point. When you get into the second leg, that's when you start to move into the next formation, I suppose, isn't it? Again, nice little work here. I think Tekkz wins the next leg 2-0. He has an absolute beautiful goal with a bit of dribbling in the second goal. I might look at that one in another video, but just for this video today, we are just going to be taking a look at directly at this game. And yeah, at this point, it's just seeing the game out. And that's essentially it. So he's an absolute phenomenal FIFA player, but your main kind of takeaway points to improve and play like Tekkz is to just be patient with the ball. You've got to learn when to go forward, when to hold on to it a little bit longer and time your attack quite nicely. Use the width to the absolute best of your advantage. That's one thing that he does a lot. He uses the left back right on the touchline, same for his left winger, right winger, that sort of thing as well. But then also the skill moves. Just add some skill moves into your game. Pick a few that you like that work quite well on this FIFA. Look at some tutorials on how to do them, start implementing them into your game, and you'll just see that you can start to get a few more goals as well. That is going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, then let me know by dropping a like on the video and your thoughts down below in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll catch all you guys in the next video. Bye bye.